What is good, Samuel Squad? Back at it again with another video here today. I didn't know if I was going to do this one, but I was like, you know what, I might as well help y'all out, give y'all, a few thoughts before these free golden tickets come out tomorrow that we get to choose. So I'm going to give you guys my list of who I think the, worst to best for offense and defense. But before we get into that, man, make sure you guys like the video, sub to the channel, and put post notifications on if you want to see my videos right when I post them. So there's a lot of reasons why I made this list and where people are placed on this list. I'll try and explain those as I go along. Obviously, people are going to have different opinions than that I do. This is just kind of how I'm looking at these cards straight up. But let's go A to Z. Actually, no, I'll just do this. So first card actually is the first card on the list. This is going to be the card that I think is least likely. We're going to do offense first. Least likely that you should pick Mohamed Sanu. He's a quarterback. So again, quarterbacks on my list, I have some high, I have some low, but this is just one of those, obviously he's an out of position player. Quarterback, once you pick a quarterback, you're kind of stuck with them for the rest of the year. There isn't too much left in Madden, but you're kind of stuck with this guy. And honestly, he's all right, but he's not the best quarterback. He's not going to be the one that you're going to want to have end game wise. So that's why I have him at the bottom of the list, number 13. And if I miss anybody, let me know down in the comments. I think I have everybody down. But next card is actually going to be Trey Edmonds. Now, I put him at the number 12 spot. I mean, he's quick. He's good. He's got pretty good stats. But how I look at this card, it's like running backs, man. We have so many running backs. The game is flooded with running backs. We got Eric Dickerson, we got Bo Jackson, we got Walter Payton. We got so many good running backs. I just don't see a reason in picking a running back. Unless it's the best running back, it's the running back that's going to make the most difference, I don't see picking. And Trey Edmonds, I don't think that he's going to be making the biggest difference. So, and that kind of goes on to the next pick that I have. Where is he? Speaking of running backs, we're putting Adrian Peterson up at, the 11 spot. Now, again, Adrian Peterson, he's pretty good. He's got, overall decent stats. I put AP above Trey Edmonds just because, for theme teams, AP's been on a lot of teams. I actually don't really know too much about Trey Edmonds, but I know AP's been on, probably 4 or 5 teams already. So he's, a good pick, for theme teams. Obviously, if you have a theme team going, you might want to get the guy that, could help your theme team out. But again, these guys are also on the cheaper side of the golden tickets, 400,000. That's pretty cheap. For you to use your golden ticket pick on a running back, that's 400,000. I feel like it's kind of a waste in my opinion. So after that, we're gonna have Cam Newton. Now Cam Newton, I really, I might change my opinion. I want to try him out. I really do, man. His stats are crazy good. For all I know, this could be one of the better quarterbacks that you could get. But again, it comes down to, is this quarterback going to be your end game quarterback? Is he going to be the quarterback you want to have for the rest of the game? Because if you choose this, you're going to be stuck with him kind of for the rest of the game. So I put Cam Newton in there. Again, I probably am actually going to try this card out because 99's everywhere, man. I mean, his speed's a 90, but when you got 99's everywhere to make up, you might be actually pretty good. So the next guy on the list is going to be interesting. Let's see. Zach Gentry. I have him just because, again, I've heard a lot of things that, the attributes and stat things were kind of messed up on this card. So that's why I kind of had him down low. And at the same time, I don't know, man. Unless you're running a Steelers theme team, I just, there's a lot of other tight ends in the game that are pretty good. And obviously, they're way cheaper than, a $600K price tag. Even though it's going to be Nat, obviously you can't sell these cards. I just think there's a lot of other tight ends in the game. Obviously, this dude's good. He's 6'6" or 6'8". I don't know how tall he is, but he's pretty built. But I have him at the number 9 spot. Now, this is where it starts to get a little bit interesting. At the 8th spot, I have Kelvin Benjamin. Now, I have this guy because I think the wide receivers are just good picks in general. Obviously, Kelvin Benjamin, his speed, that's why I had him at the lowest of the wide receivers. But I mean, a wide receiver, you have so many spots for wide receivers. If you pick one, he could always end up being one of your backup guys, or you could be one of, your deeper down in the charts for him. But it's you have all these wide receiver spots. So if you pick a wide receiver, you don't have to stick with him as your number 1 wide receiver for the rest of the game. He could always be your 5th or 4th, whatever you want to put him at. So I have Kelvin Benjamin there. Now, interesting for my next one, this is going to be number 7. So I actually have Josh Allen. Now, again, Josh Allen, good quarterback. Again, I mean, he has 91 speed, so obviously he's one of the slower quarterbacks that you can get. But again, he is a quarterback, so he's going to be one of those guys. If you pick this Josh Allen, again, Bills theme teams go crazy, man. That's probably hype that you guys got a Josh Allen. But again, like for everybody else, man, this is like, you're stuck with this guy. You can't really swap quarterbacks. Like, I mean, unless you're just going to waste your golden ticket spot, with getting a quarterback and then swapping it later. I have Josh Allen at the number 7. Now, I actually have Quincy Enunwa. I don't know actually how you say his name. I probably butchered it right there. Sorry, Jets fans. But I have him at number 6. Now, I think this is a pretty good card. Like, I actually think this is a really good card. I mean, I haven't played with him, so I don't know how he plays. But looking at his stats, man, he's pretty good. I mean, I might be missing. He is 6'2", but at the same time, man, like, again, wide receivers are one of those positions you can have multiple receivers. Like, it's one of those guys, he could be one of your, farther down the list. He could be he could be just, a backup. He doesn't have to be your number 1 target. You're not even your number 2. He could be farther down the list, and that's why I think wide receivers are good choices for this. After this, so that was number 6. We're at number 5 now. I have Michael Vick. Now, the reason I have Michael Vick, obviously Michael Vick's one of the better quarterbacks. Now, the thing I have Michael Vick here is because he does have an Ultimate Legend. The thing about the Ultimate Legend, though, obviously it's not as good as this Golden Ticket. The Golden Ticket is a monster. But I've used the Michael Vick, and I personally just didn't like him that much. But it's not going to take away from the fact that this dude, he's for theme teams, Falcons, Jets. You got all these Steelers. You got so many different, teams that he can go on for a theme team, and he's also quick. Like, I feel like Michael Vick and Lamar are both those quarterbacks. You notice the speed. You actually really can see that they are faster. I have RG3, and he's not as fast, but you can notice Mike Vick and Lamar's speed. So I have Michael Vick at number 5. Now for number 4, I have RG3. This is my quarterback. RG3, man, I can't even begin to explain, for Weekend League and all the stuff that he has clutched out for me. And, man, this dude throws dots. I literally just have not... I've had maybe 1 or 2 overthrows, and it's really, probably was my fault. It was not the card's fault. So I have RG3 there, but the thing about RG3 is I think that I could be swapping him with Lamar's spot as well, just because this is how I think about it. Lamar is going to be, the future of the NFL. He's going to be getting a bunch of cards in Madden for the future. RG3, man, I feel bad, but RG3 is probably not going to be getting another 99. I could be wrong. RG3 could go off and, maybe somehow get another 99 or a golden ticket, but I think this is one of the last chances to get to play with a good RG3 card. Unless they, come out with, a draft RG3 or something, in the future Maddens, but I think this is the last chance. So I would swap RG3 with Lamar where I have him placed. It could be either or, just because of this is the last chance to play with an RG3. I don't know if you guys have thought about that, but this is probably our last chance. So I love RG3, for nostalgic purposes, I use him as my quarterback, and he's really good. But I have RG3 at the number 4. Now, I have Bo Jackson at number 3. Now, obviously, Bo Jackson is probably one of the best running backs in the game. I have Walter Payton and Gale just because Bears theme team, and I love Walter and Gale. But Bo is probably one of the better running backs in the game. So I have him at number 3. Obviously, you could have, him at starting. You could have him the backup running back. So I feel like there's, if you don't want to use Bo later on, you always could put him as your backup. So that's a good option. Why I have him at the number 3 and up at the top, because he is the best running back in the game. He's one of the best, man. This dude has trucked me. He has thrown me. Literally has sent my guys to the sideline with how dirty he has done them. So that's why I have Bo right there. Number 2, I have Lamar Jackson. Now, again, I have Lamar here because Lamar's probably the best quarterback out of all the golden tickets stat-wise. I haven't played with Lamar. I actually have been meaning to play with the Lamar Jackson, but I just haven't yet. But look at his stats, man. He's really good. Again, this is one of those quarterbacks, though, that I can see being endgame. I can see this guy being the last quarterback you'll ever need to use in Madden 20. So that's why I have him at the number 2 spot. He's endgame. Ravens theme teams, man, this guy's probably nuts. But any team, bro, this card is nuts. So I have him at the number 2. Now, this might be an interesting first pick. I mean, I don't know what everybody else has, but I have Julio, man. I've played with Julio. You look at his stats right now, they're really good. I've played with him. He puts up plays. The The thing again, it's a wide receiver. You could always have, you could always switch him and have him as a backup. There's so many spots for wide receivers that I think wide receiver is your best option for offense, just because you could do whatever you want with wide receivers. You could have a bunch of them. But Julio really does make plays, man. I had Julio, the golden ticket, on my team for a while. I just didn't think he was worth the 3.64 mil price tag that I had bought him for, so I sold him back. But he's good. Like, nothing. Like, Julio's one of the better wide receivers you can get in this game, man. I used his zero chill the whole game, got the golden ticket when it came out. I think that this is the best choice for the offense. Now let's hit up the defense. Again, these are my opinions. This is just what I think. I haven't played with all these guys, so I don't exactly know how they all play, but that's just what I think. Now the defense is kind of interesting. Obviously, I have Keith Bullock as the last spot, man. He's 200K. You should never choose this card with your golden. This is the last card on the whole list, man. He's been going for under 200K. Why you would ever use your free golden ticket on a Keith Bullock, that just blows my mind. So do not pick this guy as your free one. Just grind out solo battles, grind out weekend league for 1 week, and you could probably buy this card. So do not pick this. I have him at the number 11 spot. The next one that I actually have, this is like, my defense is, I would say, pretty interesting. I don't know if people are going to like this. I have Anthony Barr at number 10. I just think that, first off, I think Anthony Barr should be way faster than this. I just, knowing Anthony Barr, the Bears play him twice every year. I know how fast this guy is. He should be faster than 93 speed. I just, I don't think, especially with left outside linebackers that we have in the game, man, Von Miller, we have Khalil Mack, we have all these guys, man. I don't see a reason to get an Anthony Barr. Unless, you're a Vikings theme team and you want him really bad, I just don't see it. So I have him at the number 10 spot. And then, going along with left outside linebackers, I have Brian Burns actually at the number 9 spot. Again, he's got really good stats, but it's just like, we have a lot of left outside linebackers. Like, unless you're going for a Panthers theme team, like, I wouldn't be picking this guy. Again, I haven't played with him, so I don't really know exactly, how well he is. But I have him at the number 9 spot. I'm trying to speed this up a little bit because this is kind of a long video. For number 8, I have Mike Evans. Now, the reason I have these guys, Mike Evans could have been anywhere. I have him up here because, again, corners. There's a lot of corner spots that you have on your team. So if you don't want to have Mike Evans starting as your number 1, 2, 3, you could always put him farther down the list. You have a bunch of corners on your team, bunch of spots for them, so you could always mix around your corners. So I have Mike Evans at, number 8. Then going on to the next, I have another cornerback. Where is he? We have the Eagles guy. Now, I've heard a lot of good things about this guy, and he also was on the Bears, so I could potentially get this guy for a Bears theme team. I just haven't yet. I've been thinking about replacing him with Tillman just because Tillman hasn't gotten an upgrade yet. So I actually might get this card, not with my free net. I'll obviously buy this card, but he's pretty good. He's really good. Again, it's a corner. You could have a bunch of corners on your team. I just kind of think about it like, there are a lot of corners in the game. There's a lot of corners that you can have. So, again, for my Bears, I already have 5 Bears corners, already starting. So I wouldn't even have to get this. I just would get it because, he's got really good stats. But I have him at the number 7. Now, we move on to Reggie White. Now, I look at this Reggie White, I'm like, he's goated. Like, you see all the 99, literally 6 99s on the bottom of the card. Like, it's a scary card to look at, just actually looking at it. 84 speed kind of bothers me a little bit just because you want your D-line to be pretty quick, and there's a lot of quick D-linemen in this game. Left end, there's a lot of other players that you can have at this position, that don't have all the 99s and don't have the stuff that Reggie White has. But I have Reggie White, in the middle of the list. He's probably, either middle or almost at the top tier, kind of, just because, he was on the Packers, or... I have him, again, middle to top tier. Pretty good card. Again, he's on the price scale, he's kind of mid-tier in price. That's kind of why I had him mid-tier on the list. He's not a bad pick, not a good pick. That's kind of where I have Reggie White at the number 6. Now, Troy P will be my number 5. Now, the thing about Troy P, where is he? Oh, he's actually probably worth a good bit. Troy P, obviously, this man is worth a lot. He's around like the 1 milli marker right now, kind of where all the top tier defenders are. That's why I have him at the top of the list. This man's got great stats. The only downside is I don't think you could have the Polamalu safety on the defense because you already have a Palomalu at middle linebacker. So I don't think that's the one thing, I almost dropped this card a little bit. I could probably put Reggie White above this card, but the only thing is like cost. Like this guy costs a lot. This would be a good, golden ticket choice because he's a mill. He's not like a 200K Keith Bullock. Like you actually have to pay a lot of coins for this card. That's why I kind of put him at the top tier, and he's also a really good card. So I have him at the number 5. Now number 4, I have Jalen Ramsey. Now again, this is kind of like a hot take. Just because Jalen Ramsey, you can get this guy for $550. I'm not putting him for value. I'm just putting him for, playmaking abilities. I think that this is one of the best corners that you can get out of all the golden tickets. I think, I've played with Jalen Ramsey up through his draft powered up. I haven't played with the golden ticket, but his draft guy made plays. I assume that this golden ticket is just disgusting, bro. Can't even really put a word to it. Absolutely disgusting for this Jalen Ramsey. If you just look at him right here, again, I haven't played with him. I actually have been debating on copping him, even though I have all Bears corners. And when I'm debating on copping someone and taking a Bears player off my team, that's how I know that it's probably a good card. So that would be number 4. All right, guys. So at the number 3 spot, I actually have the Brian Dawkins. Now, I think that this guy, I think he's a really good card. I think that he'll be good for theme teams. He'll be good for really any team. Again, like this man's got a 99 hit power. He is going to bust some fumbles out for you. I mean, obviously, number 3, I put him up there because, expense. Like, he's probably like a mil plus, maybe 950. He's been going for around 950. But at the same time, like, he's one of the most expensive defenders in the game. He's at a position where you could have you can have 2 of them. And also, I like it because, people that have Pat Tillman, like, this is a free safety, so you don't have to take away your Pat Tillman because Pat Tillman makes plays for me, man. He's made plays for me the whole year. Everyone gets Pat Tillman for free, so it's nice to have a free safety, not a strong safety. Going into my number 2 pick, though, Taylor Mays, obviously he's a strong safety. We have Pat Tillman already, and I love Pat Tillman. Like, I think he's just a fun card to user. He creates plays, he creates turnovers. But, dude, this Taylor Mays, like, I was actually going to not have Taylor Mays at 2. I was going to have him at 3. But then I, really looked at him, like, bro, this Taylor Mays is he's just undefeated, bro. He's 6'3", 5'11" for Pat Tillman. Like, I don't know, man. He the stats on this Taylor Mays, man. Part of me kind of wants to get him, but it's like, I don't know, man. I feel like I'd be just wasting my Pat Tillman at that point because I also I need to upgrade my Amos just because Bears comes in Bears theme team, but. I don't know. This Taylor Mays is an easy choice, man. He could be 1 or 2. I kind of have him, and obviously Calvin is the last pick, but Taylor Mays and Calvin, it could go either way. You could pick either one of these. I think either of them would be really good choices. Again, I have Calvin at number 1 because just personal preference. I'm going with Calvin Johnson as my free golden ticket. Just because, man, let's just compare him. Obviously, I have a few Bears free safety. Well, I have the free safety Calvin there. But my starters are Mike Brown and Eddie Jackson. Dude, Calvin's 6'5". This man flies around the field. Absolutely will fly. So I'm just yeah, and this is my starter. Obviously, it's not showing all the chem boosts with the Bears theme and whatnot. The Eddie Jackson and Mike Brown are really good. Eddie Jackson's kind of slow, but Mike Brown's really good, man. Especially for usering. I can get picks with this guy. But Calvin's 6'5". He flies around the field. All his stats are great. I think this Calvin Johnson's probably one of the best choices, obviously with Taylor Mays. But Calvin Johnson, again, he's one of the top, priciest guys. Him and Taylor Mays, and I think Troy P. are probably the most expensive guys you could get on the defense. So that's why I have Taylor Mays and Calvin at the top. But again, I'm going with Calvin Johnson, just who I'm thinking. Again, Taylor Mays, another good choice. You can have him at 1 or 2. But that's going to be, what I'm thinking for my picks. Now, that is just my reasoning behind them. Obviously it wasn't the best reasoning behind a lot of them because I haven't played with all of them yet. But, wow, the John Ross from my other videos sold for, I think I put him up for $85K. So that's kind of crazy, but the power-up. So if you have a John Ross power-up, get rid of him. But, yeah, that's going to be my, my golden ticket rankings. I hope it gives you guys, a few ideas. And again, I'm not the smartest Madden player, so I could be wrong on a lot of these. But I just want to give you guys, something to think about. And, if you guys have anything that you want to say in the comments, let me know, and I'll, respond to those just because I want to see what you guys think. Let me know who your top offense and top defense player are in the comments. I want to know because I actually, think I'm going to get Calvin. I still have RG3 on my team, so I could have got an RG3 as well and just sold mine. But I think I want to get Calvin. I want to be, getting something that I've never really played with. I really have never really had a free safety Calvin. I had him this year, but we're going to try out the 99 golden ticket one. But again, let me know down below what you think the best offensive player and the best defensive player is. I want to know. Again, my list, I kind of made this up just, really quickly, kind of just going through the auction, going through looking at different guys and ones that I've played with, ones that I haven't. So again, probably not the best list, but I wanted to get it out for you guys, just some content for you guys to see, because we're picking our golden tickets tomorrow. They're coming out. Make sure you guys play your solos. I will be streaming tomorrow, so make sure you guys are in that. And make sure you guys like the video, sub to the channel, and put post notifications on if you want to see my videos right when I post them. A lot of hot takes in this one, but I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.